I have never spoken about this before, but so my son who died, he was bullied. He was bullied very heavily right up until the time that he committed suicide.
Minutes ago, shocking new details about Marie Osmond's life came to light, leaving everyone stunned. For years, fans admired her talent and grace, but behind the scenes, her struggles were far darker than anyone imagined. These weren't just small bumps in the road, they were devastating blows that nearly broke her. Let us dive deep into the truth about the harsh reality Marie faced. Tune in for the revelations that will change everything you thought you knew. He first became a star in the 1970s and has kept performing for decades through his music, TV shows, and concerts. He broke records and became more than just a family act in the entertainment world. But even with all his fame, close bond, and friendly image, it seemed there was always more to his story. So what made him so popular, and what has he kept hidden until now? But just when you thought you knew everything about them, a hidden secret comes out, something they've kept for years. What is it? Stay with us, because what's next will change how you see them. He was born on December 9th, 1957. Like his brothers and sisters, he stepped into the spotlight at a young age, only 5 years old. This early start not only shaped his future, but also brought his whole family into the entertainment world. The Osmonds had a natural gift for music, and their unique sound quickly won over audiences. People didn't just love their music, they adored their clean-cut, family-friendly image too. In the beginning, they focused on gospel and barbershop music, which highlighted their strong harmonies and heartfelt lyrics. But things don't stay the same for long, do they? As the music scene changed in the 60s, so did they. By the 70s, when new music trends were taking over, the family boldly shifted away from gospel and barbershop, moving into modern pop music. This was a risky move, but it worked. They struck a chord with younger fans, and soon they were even more popular than before. He in particular stood out during this time. His voice brought something special to the group, making him the lead singer and the face of the brand. With his good looks and energy, he became a star in his own right, capturing the attention of both the media and fans everywhere. His face was on countless magazine covers, and his career reached new heights. Meanwhile, his sister Marie Osmond, inspired by his success, took her own steps into the spotlight. She faced her own set of challenges, but soon she found success with hits like Paper Roses. This showed that they weren't just lucky. Their success was built on talent and hard work. While his brothers found moderate success in country music, he decided to shake things up. He took part in unexpected projects, like appearing in a music video for Jeff Beck in 1985, and even an animated video for Luis Cardenas in 1986. After spending so many years in the public eye, he teamed up with music executive Stephen Machat and British singer-songwriter Peter Gabriel to give his image a fresh, modern twist. And guess what? It worked. In 1989, he was back on the charts in the US with his hit song Soldier of Love, which had been played on the radio without even mentioning his name at first. He followed it up with Sacred Emotion and went on to tour, performing with talented musicians like guitarist Dick Smith from Earth, Wind and Fire and Kenny Loggins. He had certainly made a name for himself, but what about his sister? She also had an impressive career inspired by his success. Curious about what she accomplished in her early years? Let's find out next. Marie and her family rose to fame on a global scale, with her being the only girl in the family. While her brothers were already making a name for themselves, she had to find her own way in the fast-paced world of entertainment in the 1970s. As the only daughter working in a male-dominated industry came with its own challenges. Her brothers played a big role in shaping her early experiences. And although their success often overshadowed her, she found her own path. She made a lasting impact with songs like Paper Roses, which really struck a chord with many people. Her strong, emotional voice helped her connect with listeners in a way that was truly special. But it wasn't all smooth sailing.
The reason I bring up the album is that there's a song on there that talks about the ups and downs of life.
Along with her success, she faced many personal struggles. Fame, while it shined a light on her accomplishments, also made her challenges even harder. Just like her brother, she was always in the public eye, and the pressure was immense. Every mistake she made felt bigger because the world was watching. The stress of being in the spotlight can be overwhelming for anyone. One of the most heartbreaking moments in her life came in 2015 when she opened up about a difficult experience. At a time when she weighed only 103 pounds, producers criticized her looks, saying she was embarrassing her family. This harsh criticism showed just how tough the entertainment industry can be behind the scenes, even for someone as famous as her. The pressure took a toll on her self-esteem and led her to unhealthy dieting, which hurt her health. But through it all, her family stood by her side. Even after finding success on her own, she regularly performed with her brothers, keeping that family connection that had made them all famous in the first place. They didn't stop at music. They tried out other things too. In 1974, they made their first big step into television by co-hosting the Mike Douglas Show for a week. This caught the eye of Fred Silverman, who gave them their own show. The Donnie and Marie Show, which aired from 1976 to 1979, became a major hit in the United States. It was so well loved that they were given a Pop Culture Award at the 2015 TV Land Awards. He later admitted that he was sad the show ended before they could wrap it up on their own terms. They also co-hosted a talk show called Donnie and Marie from 1998 to 2000, which featured performances with famous musical guests. Even though the show got multiple Daytime Emmy nominations, it only lasted 2 seasons. Donnie's story takes surprising turns, from music star to unexpected roles. During her time on the 5th season of Dancing with the Stars in 2007, he became a commentator for Entertainment Tonight, covering the show. He even lent his voice to the animated series Johnny Bravo and made guest appearances on popular shows like Friends and Hannah Montana. He and she also appeared in a Super Bowl commercial for Pepsi Twist, where they were featured alongside the Osbournes. Earlier in his acting career, he starred in the Aaron Spelling TV movie The Wild Women of Chastity Gulch in 1982 and acted alongside her in Going Coconuts in 1978. It was during this film that his future wife, Debbie Glenn, made a cameo appearance. He became the singing voice for Shang in Disney's Mulan, where he performed the popular song I'll Make a Man Out of You. In 1999, he took on a lead role in Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, after Andrew Lloyd Webber insisted that he was the perfect choice. Then, in 2002, he contributed the song No One Has to Be Alone for the movie The Land Before Time, Journey to Big Water. He also voiced a character named Jackaroo, a pickup truck, in the Bob the Builder special Built to Be Wild. In interviews, he mentioned how working on projects like College Road Trip and upcoming Disney Channel shows felt like a return to where it all began, as it was Disney who first brought his family into the spotlight. He even appeared in Weird Al Yankovic's music video White and Nerdy, a parody of Chamillionaire's Ridin'. Weird Al picked him because he was the perfect fit for the role. In early 2019, it was revealed that he was the peacock on The Masked Singer, where he came in second place. That same year, he joined Kevin Nealon for an episode of Hiking with Kevin, where they hiked through snowy trails at Sundance Resort and later strolled through the busy streets of Las Vegas. The episode ended with him giving Kevin a backstage tour of the Flamingo Hotel's showroom. In 2020, he appeared as a celebrity panelist on the Fox show I Can See Your Voice in its 5th episode. But his journey started much earlier. Growing up, his childhood was far from ordinary. From a young age, he was thrust into the world of fame, where the spotlight was both a gift and a challenge. While he was admired by many, the demands placed on him as a child star were intense. His life was filled with rehearsals, interviews, and performances, leaving little time for the usual carefree experiences that most kids enjoy. Instead of playing with friends, he was constantly preparing for the next show or public appearance. Being in the spotlight from such a young age came with huge expectations, and there wasn't much room for mistakes. Fans loved him, but the pressure to always meet those high standards was constant. It wasn't just about performing well. As a main voice of the family, a lot of their success depended on him, but that wasn't the worst part. He had to handle the kind of stress that most adults would struggle with.
Which album, which music do I put into this show? So I said, I'm going to put every song I've ever recorded into the show.
And he had to do it as a child. While fame brought excitement, it also brought the fear of disappointing his family, fans, and even himself. And yet, through it all, he continued to shine, impressing audiences with his talent and work ethic. Behind the scenes, things were tough. Being in charge of keeping the brand strong, selling out concerts, pushing album sales, and boosting TV ratings was a heavy responsibility for someone so young. People watching him might have thought it looked easy, but it came from years of hard work and a sense of responsibility beyond his years. But even though it was tough, his resilience stood out. He learned early on that fame wasn't always glamorous, which gave him a rare maturity. His ability to balance both his professional and personal life while staying grounded is a testament to his strength of character. While many child stars fade away after their moment in the spotlight, his career tells a story of perseverance and determination. It's not often that someone who becomes famous so young manages to keep that fame and grow with it, but he did. The song I Think About Your Lovin' made it to number 17 on the charts, while It's Like Falling in Love Over and Over reached number 28. They had a few other songs that landed in the lower spots of the top 40, or came close, but their music sales started to drop when they decided not to go on tour. Instead, they stayed in Branson, Missouri, and promoted their music through videos. Even with these challenges, by 1983, they managed to pay off their debts. They continued performing in Branson, sometimes changing who was in the group or involving their children in the shows. Marie Osmond, while still performing with the group, also tried his hand at a solo career. One of his highlights was a duet with Jessica Boucher called You're Here to Remember, I'm Here to Forget. He chose this song because he wanted to break away from the wholesome family image they were known for. Under the name Meryl and Jessica, the song became a hit on the country music charts by 1987, but there were even bigger challenges ahead. Alan Osmond, for example, faced a serious problem that would later come to light. His career was significantly impacted by multiple sclerosis, a serious health condition that made it hard for him to perform. But he wasn't the only one. Wayne Osmond also dealt with major health issues. In 1997, he was diagnosed with a brain tumor and the treatments left him deaf, a terrible outcome for any musician. To make matters worse, he later had a stroke, which affected his ability to play the guitar. Even though these health problems were a huge setback, he kept his love for music and focused on spending time with his family. New challenges test the Osmond family in ways most people never see. Meryl, as the lead singer of the group, felt the pressure to keep the band's success going. At the same time, he had to balance his work and family life. His duet with Jessica Boucher, which he recorded under a different name to separate it from the brand, was part of his effort to stand out in the music world. But this decision came with its own set of challenges, like rebranding and getting people to recognize him as a solo artist. Meanwhile, Jay Osmond, who was the main choreographer for their shows, also faced his own pressures. He was responsible for making sure the performances were fresh and exciting, which required a lot of creative and physical effort. This eventually wore him down, but his hard work ensured their shows were always entertaining and unforgettable. Jimmy Osmond, the youngest of the performing brothers, was busy trying to build his own identity outside of his siblings' shadow. Famous for his childhood hit Long-Haired Lover from Liverpool, he grew up in the public eye. Later, he balanced being a performer, businessman, and manager for the family.
But back and forth, for several years, I started actually representing other artists.
He did a good job handling all these roles, showing he was more than just the youngest. But this wasn't the only struggle in the family. Vale and Tom, the two oldest brothers, were born deaf, which presented its own challenges in a musically gifted family. Despite their hearing loss, they were a big inspiration to their siblings. In fact, their need for hearing aids pushed the family toward professional music. Though they faced their own emotional struggles, Verl and Tom remained important members of the family, contributing in ways beyond music. Even with all these difficulties, they stuck together. Their strong family bonds and faith in their church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, helped them stay resilient. Their values of love, dedication, and support for one another were clear, and these traits helped them navigate both their fame and personal challenges. But of course, not everything was smooth sailing, as more obstacles were always just around the corner. One of the most unsettling moments in her life happened when she was quite young. It involved Groucho Marx, an older and famous comedian. She shared a story about how he acted inappropriately toward her during a TV appearance with him. She remembered him pinching her, which made her very uncomfortable. He also treated him rudely without caring about their feelings or boundaries. She made it clear that working with him was not a good experience and that she really didn't enjoy being around him. Unfortunately, he wasn't the only person who mistreated her. Over the years, she has talked in interviews about being taken advantage of by different people in the entertainment industry when she was young. While she didn't go into specifics, she mentioned how these experiences hurt her confidence and mental health for a long time. She felt ashamed and and wrongly blamed herself. As she grew up, she also had to deal with men making unwanted advances. When she was 18, she told People magazine that she wasn't rushing to get married, although she thought she might be ready by the time she was 21. However, she ended up marrying Stephen Craig, a basketball player, at a young age. Stephen pressured her into the marriage by threatening to make their relationship public if she didn't agree. She explained that he was more interested in her fame than in her personal values or wishes. Their marriage only lasted for 3 years and they had a son before it ended due to these pressures. But this wasn't the worst part. She's been very open about the pain she faced being exploited in the industry. Despite these tough times, she found strength in her faith, her family, and her work. She has even used her struggles to help others, especially those dealing with substance, which she's passionate about raising awareness for. She and he both faced their own struggles with addiction. She developed an addiction to food and diet pills after a producer harshly criticized her weight and threatened her career. This led to unhealthy eating habits and a dependence on pills, which caused health problems.
I feel like eating pasta. I feel like eating a pizza. I feel like eating chocolate. And they gave me versions of the foods that I love, so I didn't feel like I was dieting.
She was also in a relationship with teen idol Andy Gibb, but they broke up because of his struggles with substance, which she couldn't support. He, on the other hand, became dependent on prescription painkillers after surgery. He also battled severe anxiety, especially during his time performing in Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. He turned to alcohol to deal with the stress, which only made things worse. However, both siblings were able to overcome their addictions through faith, therapy, and the support of their family, giving hope to others with their stories of strength. But this wasn't the only tragedy in her life. She faced unimaginable heartbreak when her son Michael died at 18. He had struggled with depression and substance issues for much of his life and sadly took his own life, feeling alone and hopeless. She has spoken openly about this devastating loss and has since dedicated herself to raising awareness about mental health and suicide prevention in honor of her son. In recent years, he and she have continued to stay active in their careers. After their long-running Las Vegas show ended, he started a solo residency, sharing his personal stories and music. Meanwhile, she has taken on various TV roles and continues to speak openly about her struggles with mental health. Did Donnie and Marie's wholesome image hide something deeper? Let us know your thoughts, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.